I decided to make a video about the Italian Greyhound after watching numerous YouTube videos that concern me regarding the care and general knowledge of the breed, especially for those individuals who are seriously considering acquiring one. I am by no means an expert on the breed, but after 21 years, and now Luca, our ninth Iglet, I can safely say that I'm well versed and experienced with the breed. Much of the content that I viewed has been made by the younger generation who may not know the true nature of the breed. And if you are researching the breed, many articles I've read are misleading and simply wrong. Some articles are close to generalizing the breed, but by no means give a full view of this quick, affectionate dog. Joyce Diamond of Diamond Dog Training has excellent videos on training Iglets and is a fantastic resource for understanding the breed. I'm going to show some video of Luca, now our one and only Italian Greyhound, along with still images of our past crew. So all the pics you see overlaid on top of the video are of our former dogs. So the first thing we need to talk about, get it out of the way, is house training. This is probably the most common issue with the breed. They are notoriously hard to potty train, but if you are consistent, it can be done. My wife and I have successfully house trained 8 Iglets, and we have had Luca for less than 3 weeks, and he started going near the door about after day 4. The problem is he just sort of stands there and doesn't make it known he needs to go out. And lately, he started to look out the window as an indication that he needs to go out. It will still take a lot of work, but we'll get there. Now, these are extremely intelligent and sensitive dogs, and positive reinforcement works best, as with all breeds, but consistency is key. These dogs became quite popular after the kids' movie Good Boy was released in 2003, as is the case with all movies that have dogs in them, like the live-action version of 101 Dalmatians. People bought these dogs and then realized they could not adapt to their breed-specific personalities and traits and then dumped them off in shelters. There were a lot of IGs up for adoption through IGCA Rescue and other shelters because people couldn't potty train them. These are small dogs and they suffer from small bladders. Many small dog breeds are hard to house train, but for some reason, this breed is exceptionally hard to house train. I'm not going to lie, it can be frustrating, especially when you think you are making great headway and then your little Iglet just pees in the middle of the living room floor after you just took him or her out. Ours would use the pee pads when it was cold or rainy, but we had a couple of girls that would pee on the edge of the pad no matter how many pads we put down. Another thing about this breed is their intelligence and temperament. Iglets are smart. They are sighthounds and can pick up on things quickly. We've had dogs in the past that could open doors, climb lattice, escape from kennels, push various items off counters, knock plates of food right out of your hand. They need to be stimulated, both physically and visually. They display what some in the IG community call willful disobedience. They know what to do, but they just choose not to do it. Our first Iglet was very, very smart. We enrolled him in a puppy training class and were unaware that there was a test at the end of the 8-week session. We taught him sit and stay and then sort of kind of, gave up after that. We just really wanted him there for more of a socialization. Well, when it came time to take the obedience test, he performed all 8 of the commands: sit, stay, down, leave it, come, and a few other commands. It was really impressive. The trainer was even impressed. And we were all kind of shocked. But before each class started, Vito would go up to each person and sit and get a treat while the other dogs just played and were oblivious. So these dogs are very attached to their owners and can often have issues when left alone. This breed should not be an only dog because of separation anxiety. They are classic pack hounds and thrive with other dogs. It's not really necessary to have two or more IGs if you have other dogs, but having two does help with separation issues. They get along with other breeds very well. We've had Beagle, Basset Mix, full size Greyhound, um, and our current designer dog, Gracie. They get along with other dogs very well. But another thing about the Italian Greyhound is they can be very aloof around strangers, especially in public spaces. They can exhibit nervous behavior around people they do not know. But once they get to know a person, they will warm up to them fairly quickly. They are simply cautious around new people, so they need to be socialized a lot as a puppy. This dog wants to be in your lap at all times and needs loads of attention. They want to steal your warmth, and they're very affectionate, which leads me to athleticism. These dogs are very quick, fast in corners, and if they get loose, you will not catch them. They can jump 6 feet off the ground and can easily outrun other breeds. This is one of the things that dismayed me when watching content on YouTube. Many of the videos had owners letting their dogs off leash in open areas. This is a big time no-no. I don't care how well your dog's recall is. If a sight hound such as a Greyhound, Whippet, Saluki, or Italian Greyhound catch sight of something and zero in on it, they will take off and you will not be able to catch them or recall them. These little dogs have a prey drive, some more than others, but they are sight hounds and were bred to hunt small game. Every spring I come home to beheaded rabbits and other little critters. Our dog Fisher was so quick and athletic, I personally witnessed him snatch 2 birds out of midair and kill them. Our dog Gia would stand and scan the yard from the Rubbermaid chest and then launch herself like an 8-pound rocket towards whatever little critter was in the yard. One of the videos I saw had an IG off leash at what I thought was a dog park, but in fact was just a green space in a city center. Oh boy, I was aghast to see the streets and buildings and no fencing. Other videos had their dog off leash at the beach near roads, not even wearing a collar. The thing people do not know about this breed is that they suffer from a condition commonly called flight fright. What happens is the dog chases down something or just runs because they've been spooked, and after they get so far away, they will freak out and become almost feral. They will not respond to their owner nor anyone trying to catch them. In some instances, they will run until they die. I know this from personal experience, not from one of our dogs, but from a friend's dog that busted out of the arms of a handler after a dog show. We searched for hours only to find the dog dead. Never, ever let your IG off lead in an area not enclosed. The only instance where I believe your Italian Greyhound should be off lead is lure coursing. There are some that do agility, but since they're sight hounds, I think they're better suited towards lure coursing. But otherwise, don't leave your dog off leash in an open area. If it gets loose and another dog sees it, another dog off leash or on leash even, it can have very bad consequences. So that leads me to general health and leg breaks. So this breed is known for leg breaks. Thankfully, we've never experienced this with our previous 8 Italian Greyhounds. And we have to keep an eye on little Luca because he's a puppy, and all IG puppies think they can fly. Many people opt for pet health insurance because it can be very expensive to treat leg break with this breed. Other common health issues are epilepsy and seizures. We've had 2 boys that had this issue. One boy was much later in life, but the puppy mill dog had them after age 3. He would have them maybe 3 or 4 times per year, and it is a heartbreaking experience to go through. Another issue with this breed is PRA, which is progressive retinal atrophy, which is an inherited eye disease that leads to blindness. Luxating patella is also known in this breed. Poor teeth are also an issue, and you should be prepared to brush their teeth pretty much daily. All that being said, it's important to do your research regarding a breeder. Go to the Italian Greyhound Club of America, which is IGCA, to look for a list of certified and vetted breeders. And even then, you should do more research. A reputable breeder will breed for health and conformation, which means breeding to the breed standard. In many of the YouTube videos I've watched, a good number of the dogs are biggie iggies, meaning they are taller than the breed standard allows. This can be an indicator of a backyard breeder or a puppy mill dog. Iglets should not look like whippets. Poor breeding can lead to poor health and temperament. Also, you can always adopt an IG. The IGCA always needs people to foster and adopt. Just go to IGCA Rescue and you'll find links. Most states have their own chapter. We have rescued two IGs as well as a retired racing greyhound, a beagle, a basset mix, a Dalmatian, and Gracie, our designer dog. She's half pug and half cocker spaniel. She's a cocker puggle, or a cocker puggle, or my wife calls her the pugamut. People often criticize dog owners that have full breed dogs from a breeder, but we've had to deal with the rescue Nazis. I'm not quite sure those people are any better. And I need to mention sun damage and skin cancer. IGs are like lizards, they love the sun, but too much of it can be very bad for them, especially the lighter coated dogs like Luca. We've had a few mostly white IGs, and we always try and put kid sunscreen on them. Skin cancer can be an issue with this breed because of their fine, thin coat. So, environment is another one. Another question is whether or not this breed makes a good apartment dog. I'm torn on this issue because many people are unable to live in a house with a large backyard or any yard to let their dogs run. And make no mistake, these dogs need to run. Even our older Iglets love to run. They never seem to slow down. Joyce at Diamond Dog Training seems to think that they make great apartment dogs so as long as you are able to exercise them. I kind of think it depends on your specific apartment environment. Personally, we don't walk our dogs. Our previous house was in a subdivision full of boxers and pit bulls that seemed to always be on the loose. And I will never, ever take our dogs to a dog park because it's the Chuck E. Cheese of the dog world, full of diseases like Giardia, parvo, kennel cough, and various worms such as hookworm and roundworm. And there is no guarantee that your dog will not be attacked by another dog. No thanks. If you are going to walk your IG, please, for the love of all that is holy, do not use a flexi lead, also known as a retractable leash. These things should be outlawed, period. No responsible dog owner should ever use one of these monstrosities. You should have complete control over your dog at all times. What happens when you turn a corner and your dog runs into another larger dog, either on leash or off? You have to reel him in like the dog is a fish at the end of a line. What if your IG spots a squirrel across the road or decides to make a run for it? Or a rabbit, or God forbid, a skunk? Your sight hound may never show that kind of prey drive until one day they do. 6 feet is the maximum distance your dog should be away from you. So as far as apartments go, it kind of depends on where you live. We moved less than a mile from our first house, and this neighborhood is completely different. No large dogs running wild, although I do occasionally see a stray. And most of the people that walk their dogs are quite responsible in my neighborhood. We have a large space, so we simply do not walk our dogs. We leash train them for when we go out in public with them, but otherwise we don't walk them. Another thing to keep in mind is that this is a single coat, low fat dog. They do not like the cold. Not a single dog of the past 8 that we've had enjoyed a good romp in the cold and snow. So if you live in a cold climate and don't mind your dog peeing on a pee pad half the year, then by all means, go right ahead. Personally, I wouldn't do it. And as far as the interior environment goes, our dogs sleep in the bed with us, and IGs like to burrow under the covers. So we block off the staircase so they cannot roam upstairs and keep all the doors closed to the interior rooms. So the amount of time it takes to create your IG really depends on the individual dog. Most of our past dogs were not big time chewers and went through the puppy teething period fairly quickly. They were not created for more than, say, 6 months before we trusted them to sleep on the couch all day while we were gone to work. This can be a controversial subject in the dog world, to keep a dog crated all day for safety or to let the dog have more space. Personally, I prefer my dogs to have access to the dog door in case of an emergency arises, such as a fire. I sort of have an unhealthy fear of fire. Our dogs have access to the living room, dining room, and kitchen, which leads to the dog door. We have a 6 foot privacy fence and live in a quiet 26 house dog leg subdivision with virtually zero traffic. So, in conclusion, if you are seriously considering an Italian Greyhound as a companion pet, please be aware of all the traits this breed displays. They are not a fashion accessory and should not be treated as one. No dog should. Because of celebrities promoting this breed on social media, I believe this is another factor in their popularity. I was unaware of this as I don't really do any social media, but I came across a video talking about 4 or 5 celebrities that do have Italian Greyhounds. Do your research and don't make the mistake of thinking that you can train your Italian Greyhound like you trained your Labrador or Golden Retriever. Don't get a dog, any dog, for social media clout and likes. Don't be a flesh peddler. Stay away from pet stores that sell dogs and don't believe online broker sites like Paw Raid that claim they don't use puppy mill dogs. No reputable breeder will advertise their litters online or through a third party broker. Now, if you think anything I said was controversial in any way, please leave a comment and explain why. I'm very, very, very serious about not letting sighthounds off leash. This is the number one thing for me. No sighthound should be left off leash in an unenclosed area. And if you don't agree, great. But just remember the consequences can be terrible. And it's heartbreaking. So other than that, if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. And that's about it.